Greetings, fellow followers of the Steward, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Frostwardens, Episode 65, Turrets and Biotanks. Okay, we're researching biosculpting. Nice. Got 8 Ds of fuel loaded into the Ark, with like hundreds of fuel ready. So we're just waiting on getting the last tool bench that you guys had voted on. Which means more steel. I have about 100 steel left to go. And then after we get that steel, we'll be all set to work on the automated turrets. Which I know it's like at the end of a long list of things to get, but I haven't forgotten. Definitely a case of too many projects. Fish also has an infection? If he did, he'd have a symbol on his person. Because I'm using the color-coded mood bars. So the bottleneck for advanced components at this point is a lack of a gold drill. I'm going to move the wood drill to the gold site. And I think it's time for our final voting session of the stream. Voting session 30. Stalwarts demand separate dining and recreation from the Pilgrims, and Pilgrims demand that a Biosculptor pod cycle be made available per season. Basically, that if someone needs to be biosculpted, that at least one pilgrim is in the biosculptor per season. Have you guys voted on that? For 1 minute. And this is the 30th session that is taking place the 11th of summer, year 6. And given the skewed voting results, it's worth, I know you're literate, but maybe you're lazy. The way this works is that you are invited to self-assign to one of the two factions, either Stalwarts or Pilgrims. Stalwarts being sort of like science-focused transhumanists that believe in progress through science, and Pilgrims are traditionalists that believe in hard work and labor for success. So if you haven't self-assigned a faction, once you do, you vote only in line with that faction. So if you find yourself siding with the Stalwarts, you only vote for Stalwarts. If you find yourself siding with the Pilgrims, you only vote for Pilgrims. This seems to me like a runaway poll. To me, I think that's fair. So let me do the adjustments at the back end. And it has concluded the Pilgrims' demands for biosculpting have been met. The result of this is that once we have biosculpting up, we will be making a biosculpt cycle ready for Pilgrims every season. We don't yet have bioregeneration and global medicine research, but one might say that that is now, as a result of that passing, going to be the highest research to be queued up. So that's our next research project. Doesn't matter what those votes are going. So the Stalwarts are still disenfranchised. They haven't dropped further, but the Pilgrims are now encouraged. They've won a whole lot of the recent polling, and they're happy about that. All right, winner. I'm going to have you help with corpse removal. I wonder what our total kill count is. It's like someone like Axios has probably killed hundreds of people now. You've killed 206 people. Good lord. That's like Simo Haya levels of murder on the snow. Is that everyone? I'm going to assume that's everyone. Oh, I missed one. And then there are the people in the corpse pool. Batteries are pretty low. Let's try 115%. I'm trying to find that sweet spot. Oh, speaking of which, we could definitely turn off the ground pen scanner because that thing soaks electricity. As does the smelter, but we're currently using it. Oh, there was a reason I had the ground pen scanner on. It's so that I could actually mine the gold. I forgot about that. So I was attacked, to be fair, in my defense. Alright, so we have a deep drill site. Ooh, yeah, a deep drill site here for the gold. And then we can start making the advanced component again. So if you're wondering about the nurture flower petals, where are they? I don't even know where we're stocking them. But the way they work is that you build a drug lab. So I'm going to build a steel drug lab. Maybe yeah, I'll build a steel one. And we'll be able to start to make drugs off of that. We do have our tool bench now. So I know I'm still trying to dig myself out of the steel deficit, but I'm only making it worse. But we will want a steel drug lab to be able to make medicine out of our herbal medicine, and then eventually glitter world medicine out of our medicine, which will be unlocked at glitter world medicine tier. Do I need to heat this room too? I will eventually, but at the moment it's summer. And I'll probably get enough gold out of this drill before it becomes too cold to actually work there, that it's a non-issue. But thanks for thinking of it. Negative 42, which is the ambient temperature outside, is not particularly dangerous. Sheep, for instance, is safe to negative 59. So sheep ain't even feeling it. And won't be until mid-autumn. It's cold, but they're getting used to it. Looking at our power, it might not be enough to... But I think what I want to do is the first power surge. As an experiment. So that's what a power surge looks like. It blasts the batteries up to full, but everything gets stunned by EMP for 30 seconds, and then comes back online. So it's a potentially dangerous thing to do if we have a dire need for power immediately. And it's also not particularly useful to do given how few batteries we have. But we need to do 3 power surges total in order to upgrade to the next level, and it's a 15-day cooldown. So now that you know the penalties to a power surge, it might be wise to do them as frequently as possible because the EMP effect is pretty nominal. It doesn't really affect us all that badly. It didn't destroy any crops, it didn't freeze anyone, and doing it in warmer seasons is obviously going to be a lot better than the colder seasons. Because when it's cold, oh boy, is that a problem. More batteries? Well, the issue with that is battery research has never been voted on. We don't know how to make them. Maybe someday. Alright, come on, Sauce. Resistance is 0. Next time we talk to Sauce, Sauce will be joining. Before that happens, let's go ahead and decide on who becomes the Sauce. Raffle timer's right there. Good luck. Alright, here's the drug bench. So, we are able to make Neuturamine with the neutral flower petals. And then Glitterworld Neuturamine with the trimmings that we don't have access to yet. But, like, eventually. I'm really curious where the petals are, though. So we've harvested... Oh, they're just lying on the ground. We don't even know where to put them yet. Got it. They do spoil, so it's best if we put them somewhere where they won't. And it won't really spoil in this workshop. Too cold in here. The trimmings are to make Glitterworld. New recruit for Sauce. So Sauce being a being one of the stalwarts is going to get an individual bedroom. So hunting, mining, art, and research. Research is the big one. So Sauce, you're going to be set to the Zeus and Behind Walls, and the Zeus and Behind Walls is going to be set to research. Behind Walls. Zeusin is on a night owl schedule, so this works out real nicely. Sauce will be on a day schedule, and therefore we're going to have, like, kind of twice the research as a result. Now, I will have to keep an eye on the ambient temperature within the bedroom, but very happy to have another researcher in the colony, because it's been a while since Nobla died that we had the means to actually do these kind of research. You're also a shooter, so for now, I know I have a bolt action, but I think it's pretty reasonable to roll out a assault rifle, so that you are, you know, have access to the shooting that you need. Sweet. And good luck on the raffle. Sauce Blaster. Seriously? Your name is Sauce Blaster. Why did I read that out loud? Schedule is done. Work is done. Yeah, okay. All set. And then clothing, you're already in your proper clothing pretty quickly. Hey, you're actually wearing a shirt. That's unusual. Alright, we probably have enough gold. I'll do one more portion of gold, and then uninstall the gold drill. And I think we need coal again. So this gold drill will go back up to the wood spot. Sauce, who could you pair up with? No one. JD's male, Rogy's male. Our male to female ratio is looking a bit more like Alaska. And the raffle goes to Rise It. I should call you B-Sauce. Hey, B-Sauce. Mike. No, never mind. All right, awesome. Stop giving me trade inspirations. Just, it's honestly angering. Cut it out. Well, power looks pretty good. Zeusin's able to actually replace clothing with relative speed now, which is great. I'm going to replace this neutro flower with maybe rice. Oh, we're not quite done. Am I out of travelware? Yeah, we're replacing it. No worries there. And now that a lot of the backlog of crafting is done, although not the components so much, but we can start making the ready-to-be installed security. So I'm going to have 4 different turrets built to be ready to be deployed. That's the goal. Oh, wow, that was fast. Just insta-parka. Not parka, travelware. Taking a look at my cloth. We'll actually make that cotton. I think we're falling behind on our cotton needs. So these turrets need 120 plasteel total. So I can turn off the plasteel drill now. We have 140 plasteel or so. It's going to be enough. Oh, and hydrate. Cheers. That's empty. Let's try that again. Cheers. So the big demand now is just drill, baby, drill. And we have so little work happening right now in the colony that they're hauling like chunks from miles away. I need a mod to disable inspirations 1x1. Yeah, I would say like if a mod to change, not disable them, but to change the minimum level required for an inspiration would make sense. For those that don't know, in order to get inspirations, generally you need a skill of 3. To further explain, if you wanted to have an animal taming inspiration, you need an animal skill of 3. If you want to have a crafting or creativity inspiration, you need an art, construction, or crafting of 3. So on and so forth. I feel like 3 is too low of a threshold. For instance, Zeusin got a medical inspiration with medical 3. But like, you shouldn't, in my opinion, you shouldn't get inspired at basic familiarity. It should be at least like 6 or 7. A weak professional might make more sense. Right? If you're like, barely familiar with the skill, you shouldn't be inspired into it. So if it was up to me, I would have the inspiration tier be at like at least 6 or 7, if not like 8 or 9, because 3 is way too low and makes no sense. So the reason why we keep getting inspired trades is social, but in the case of Winter with a social of 10, yes, that makes sense. With the case of Zeusin with a medical of 3, that makes no sense. You barely know where your like phalanges are, and you're like, I'm inspired to do surgery. It's like, no, you're not. God, no. Why? Why? That's horrible. That's just the way the game works. So in a lot of cases, it's better to have a skill of 2 than a skill of 3. Because a skill of 2 opts you out of the inspiration that you're barely able to use. As silly as that sounds. Okay, we have a lot of iron and coal now, so let's get smelting. So here's the assault rifle horizon. And then the rest of the seal will be dedicated for the turrets. How much does an inspiration raise the skill level? For creativity, just 1. But that's the only inspiration that matters for skill level. So like a inspired trade increases your if you look at like trade price improvement, you can see the inspired trade is 18% more. So it depends on the inspiration. All of them are different. For inspired surgery, it increases the surgery success chance. So here we've got actually the way the inspired surgery is way different, but everyone is a bit different. Inspired work frenzies, running, run frenzies, so on and so forth. They all work a bit differently. So I think the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to have plasteel mini turrets. So turret stockpile 1. So I'll have them on the bottom and the top. Ready to be deployed. So it'll be uninstalled and sitting at the north and south doors. Ready to go on demand. So I'm missing 1 component. It's fine. There we go. We've effectively doubled our amount of turrets that we have. Oh, that's the wrong zone. No, not raw food. What? Ooh, a masterwork rifle. Hot damn. Hey, Axios. You wanna change? Nice. Horizon wants to look different. Oh, you have face tattoos. There you go. Nice. So we have 4 turrets uninstalled and ready to go. I'm going to start researching Glitterworld meds so that we can start planting the Glitterworld flower, the Elysium trimmings or whatever they're called. And then what we want to be doing is running power surges for arc upgrade. That is the top priority. We did just get Biosculpt research done, and I don't have a good spot for a Biosculpt pod. So the other thing that might be worth pursuing is sterile flooring. God, where is it? Sterile tile. Search. Sterile materials. So I think I'm going to research sterile materials really quickly so that we can have proper Biosculpt rooms. Because the sterile bonus for biosculptors are massive. They're really, really, really important to min-max. Because it can shave off like an entire day of sitting in a pod, which is a lot of time. So we'll get sterile tiles going. And that also means that the silver that I have, which we're never going to really ever use for trade, can also be used in the hospital as well. So for a room for biosculptors, I don't really have a good room for this yet. It can't really be attached to the ideology room for the pilgrims, because it's kind of full. I think it's going to have to be another outbuilding like these are. Unless I want to use a bedroom, but I kind of don't. So we're going to have to prep a biosculpt room too. So I'm just going to say the priority is power surges and biosculpting. Move the sensors. Sensors can't be moved. They can only be destroyed, and therefore it's really expensive to move a sensor like that. Def not gonna do. Nice. Oh, the wooden door doesn't have to be wood anymore. That's a start. I don't have enough... Actually, I have just enough plasteel to make it a plasteel door, but I'm going to mine up a little bit more plasteel. One of the reasons I'm placing it here is it exposes our chem fuel to even less of a likelihood of an external attack. So I'm just going to, like, keep doing that. But we are flying through the sterile materials research, so that won't take too long. And then the pod itself is no cheap thing. You pretty much need, like, 1 pod per person. So it's 120 steel and 4 components per person, which is a lot. But they're the ones sourcing the materials, so, you know, I guess it's fine. If I'm not mistaken, you can lay it out like this, where it, where it's like in its own micro room like this. Right, this is still allowed, so you can have a pod in there, even with the block, door block. Odd, I know, but I'm min-maxing it. Quantum, thank you for all the gifted subs. Hot damn, dude. Cheers. Zeusin. Just finished sterile materials, so now we'll go back to literal meds. And sterilize the pod room, and then sterilize the research room. And also, like, physically build a pod. Now, it's not likely that I'm going to be using a pod until... Well, I could actually do a first Biotune cycle. So the question is, this is a pilgrim-only vote. Who takes first pod cycle? I kind of know who you guys are likely to vote on. But we have Axios, who's got a bad eye, torso scar, and missing toe. We got JD, who's got a bad shoulder and pinkies and toes. Fishpick is fully healthy. He has no problems. So between Axios and JD, for the first pod cycle, they're the only really two that need to go through pod cycles. So have you choose between those two. And temporarily, this research room is going to be, like, messed up, but we're working to fix that up. Okay, I think Axios will be the first pod cycle. Sounds good. So what we can do is we can have a biotune to the pod and then wait for us to be able to make Glitterworld meds to commit to a full bioregeneration cycle. So that's the plan. Power looks pretty good in the base. We're getting a plasteel door here, which is going to be phenomenal because that wooden door has been broken so many times. And then soon, all of these critical walls are going to be replaced as well. I'm also going to change the layout of this entirely once this moisture pump fully expands, but that's going to be a minute. Any benefit of moving a moisture pump to the south bunker around here? I could start to remove all the water around this area so that we can move around this area a little bit faster. But I'm going to focus mostly on the resources required for the other things we got going on right now. Because, you know, we have a lot of projects, a lot of irons in the fire, so to speak. And I'd like to focus on the stuff we need for that. And yeah, pumps can't be moved. Only constructed, deconstructed. Makes them tricky to deal with. We out of steel? Ah, so we are. I was like wondering why we stopped sterilizing the hospital. But sterilizing the hospital is going to make our people happy. You know, that they have a very nice hospital as part of their ideology. Spacious hospital. Okay, the nutrition that's going in here, I want to make sure that we're not loading in things that are stupid. So I'm going to say berries. Just because berries have a shorter lasting period than rice does. So a medic cycle only heals wounds, but it doesn't do regeneration. So what we want to do is biotuning. We're going to do a biotune for Axios. So Axios is going to hop in and biotune it. And the speed of the cycle here is... Where is the sterile effect calculation? I actually forget what that is. But the... Oh yeah, here it is. Cleanliness factor 110%. So he's going to be able to fly through that nice and quick. And as we get a little bit more steel, we'll be able to add more sterile tiles to fix it up even better. So we'll have up to, there we go, 60. So 115% or 15% faster. Which for the longer cycles, which take like days, like up to potentially 11 days, 15% off of 11 days is a lot of time. So that's why the sterile value of the room is very, very, very helpful. What does nerve boost do? I don't know what you're looking at. There is the medic cycle, bioregen cycle, age reversal cycle, and pleasure cycle. And the pleasure cycle is the shortest one. and therefore it is the best one to do to biotune. It just uses more food, which really isn't a bottleneck for us right now. So that's why I didn't mind using it. Oh, nice. One of the other benefits is now we have a full flagstone path out here, speeding us up a lot, which is great. And not only that, but I can change the defenses to have a 3-to-1 defender ratio here if we had another brawler. So I'm going to change the walls a little bit so that there's a brawler bonus in this zone. I hope not to have to use that too often, but when I do, it's going to be nice. Now, why haven't we finished the sterile tiles? Come on, constructors. Finish the work. Oh, right, they're not even allowed in there. All right, let's allow the research bench area to be accessed by the builders. That's why they hadn't done it. That makes a lot more sense. And we've managed to keep our steel supply pretty decently flowing, despite the fact that the run is really far. But the illuminated hallways will speed us up like 20% for the commutes, and then the heat means that we're less hypothermic while we're up there. So we've been putting a lot of effort into making sure that our miners can mine efficiently without having a huge running darkness bottleneck or anything like that. And there we go. Now we have a sterile hospital, and the high-tech research bench will have a research speed factor bonus from cleanliness and the multi-analyzer, so we research even faster. And we're less likely to have like infected wounds and the like in there as a result of this sterile tile. Now there is a bonus for cooking as well, but because we aren't actually cooking physical meals, because we voted long ago on nutrient paste, we have a kitchen potentially for it, but we haven't put it to use. Speaking of which, did we lose that meat? I don't know what came of the meat we had. Maybe we put it through the NPM. I thought I told my guys not to, because animal products is forbidden, as are meat, but I don't know where the meat went. So, yeah, I have no idea. But the current goal now is, and this is where I'm going to be leaving off, but it remains the same, which is to run the power surges so that we can install the adaptive fuel modulator, and to get Axios through his first bioregen cycle to try to heal some of his old battle scars. And this, friends, is where I'm going to be off for the week. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Frostwardens, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you in the next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Frostwardens.